Hello, welcome back. Pretty obvious what I'm here to talk about on this fine Friday evening. Well, actually, it's not because since I waited so long, two big things happened, and I'll touch on both of them. I'll start with the more important one. Um, the Philadelphia Eagles are playing a divisional rival in the NFC Championship game in 2 days at 3 p.m. If they win the game, they're in the Super Bowl. It will be the last hurdle between the Philadelphia Eagles and another Super Bowl appearance in a shot to add their second title in team history. They enter this game as 4.5, 6 point favorites, minus 300 on the money line. So the reason that this game is at home is because Washington was able to upset Detroit and set the Eagles at 2 and Washington 6. Instead of having 2-seed Eagles versus 1-seed Lions, it's 2-seed versus 6 seed. So the Eagles are now getting the nod at home instead of flying to Detroit and playing, which is way different. It's going to be, in my opinion, not a hard game, but I don't want to talk too soon because I feel like Lions fans probably thought the same thing and Jane Daniels shredded their defense. But I just think if we can make them uncomfortable and not let them do their easy stuff, it should be a win. Because, yes, they lost to the Commanders earlier this season, but that was when Hurts went out early. That was when Kenny Pickett was reliant to be the leader of that offense. So I feel as though if you want a better game to look at, you look at the first one. The Eagles won that game. The Eagles, let's actually see the score right now. I think it was the Eagles won that game by 8 points, and were able to do it pretty easily. It was really a 16-point win. That they got a late game stuff and failed the onside kick and stuff like that. The Eagles are now playing them January 26th. Yep, this Sunday. I think that personally, I think the Eagles will win this game. I don't think it will be close. I think that Saquon might actually not do as well because thinking about it, I think he does good, but you know what I'm saying? I think the Commanders they have a good defense, but they'll have to be reliant on focusing on one thing. I think they're going to choose to focus on Saquon like a normal team would, and I think that's going to leave lenient for players like A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith and even Dallas Goedert to have a good game. And so I think that I'm actually predicting a really good game from Devontae Smith. I think he makes his name heard today or tomorrow. I think he makes his name heard this week. I think Hurts has a really good game in the air, maybe runs one in. And I'm expecting the Eagles to make this one over by the time we reach 7 minutes left in the game. I think that if all they need, if the Eagles have just a decent defensive game, 80% of the time the defense plays well, like if say the Commanders have 3 drives, if they're able to hold them to only 1 touchdown on those drives, then I think the Eagles can easily win this game. Maybe a field goal here and there for them, but I'm just not as worried as I was for previous games in this playoff run. Oh, hold on. Let me just reset this all together. Because, this game, I think it's going to boil down to how the defense executes, because I think that the offense will have at least one focal point, whether Saquon is still the focal point, even when they focus on him, and he still gets 200 yards, 300 yards, and prevails us to a win, or whether the focal point is a player like Dallas Goedert and A.J. Brown, and the Eagles are less reliant on Saquon, because I feel as though that has happened this season where they just have so many weapons on this offense. You have to choose. You kind of have to make decisions about which ones that you want to guard. And I might have to ditch these headphones at this point, but we're working this out. It's a fun bit here. It's really this right muff that's got it. I got it. Yeah, it was that right muff there that had me in a headlock. But anyways, I think that if the Eagles are able to just control the offensive game, have one of their offensive games looking good, whether that's passing to Brown, Smith, Goddard, Dotson, even Calcaterra, even, or if it's just let Saquon be Saquon and dominate I think the Eagles are able to do good in one of these categories. I think they win by 2 scores. And if the offense is off, obviously it will be rough. It will be close. But I think the Eagles are going to be able to pull a gritty win out. And that's the hope, right? That's the goal. Um, Hopefully we win this game. Hopefully it's not close. And I give us a less heartbreak. But now, I do need to do this because they broke their 6-game losing streak. We need to give props to the Philadelphia 76ers. So that would be kind of the second half of this, because although I want to mainly touch on the Eagles and how I think they can prevail them to victory in the NFC Championship game, make the Super Bowl, win the Super Bowl. I do want to talk about the Sixers and how they were able to upset the Cavs as 10-point underdogs tonight, 10.5-point underdogs. They went and they won 3 out of 4 quarters. They won the game 132-129, and before this, the Sixers were on a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I believe it was 6-game losing streak. It was a 7-game losing streak before that, with their last win on January 9th. So their first win in over 2 weeks came today, and it came against the number 1 team in the Eastern Conference. And they're the number 1 team in the Eastern Conference by a convincing 5.5 games right now. So the Sixers, I feel like they were able to just. And this is crazy because the Cavs were shooting so well, but they were able to outshoot the Cavs. The Cavs shot 48% from 3. That's extremely good. The Sixers shot 53% from 3. The Cavs shot 50% from the field. Extremely good. The Sixers shot 50.5. And then you look at superstar play. You look at who did really good in the categories. And yes, Donovan got 37 points. But then there's guys that stepped up for the Sixers that don't normally get as many points. Like Eric Gordon had 15 points. Justin Edwards had 15 points. Paul George, who's averaging this season on the Sixers, averaging 17.4 points a game at 30 points. Maxey had 29 points, 7 assists, 2 blocks, and 2 steals, which is a great line for him. Kelly was getting into it. Kelly had 13 rebounds, a lot of offensive. And the thing about Kelly's game is tonight is it wasn't just Kelly getting rebounds; it was Kelly getting offensive rebounds. That's what I was thinking about because, yeah, he had 13 rebounds, but 7 of them were on the offense. That's more than half of them. That's plays you need to make to beat good teams. You need to be able to miss and recover. Like, obviously, it's hard to get an offensive rebound, but if you're able to do it, you need to know how and when to execute. And I think they did a really good job of executing this game. I'm really proud of how they played. And obviously, it's been dire. It's been rough for the Sixers. And the Eagles playoffs, they kind of like the light in Philadelphia right now. 6 or 7 game losing streak is like getting like 15% of the coverage. Eagles playoffs is getting like 85-90% of the coverage because that's what people care about right now. It's the playoff season, and so the Sixers have another week to 3 weeks, another few days. They either have 3 days or 3 weeks to stretch out, figure this one out. So basically, if the Eagles win, they have to till the trade deadline, and that's where they're. I've heard a lot of people say that's where they're going to see if they're contenders or not based on the trades they make, and I do agree with that. I think after this win, and if we beat the Bulls tomorrow, which we're 2 games behind for the 10 seed, I think that if we win that, we're gonna roll with what we have. Keep Yabu, keep Justin. These guys that are showing that they are better than their contract value. And obviously, we're going to lose some of them at the end of the year, unfortunately. But we don't have to focus on that right now because right now we have to focus on sneaking into the NBA playoffs. And so I think that the Sixers should roll what they have into the trade deadline, and the Eagles are kind of helping them do that a little bit. And one last time, let's hunt, go Birds, and a smaller but still herd, go Sixers, go Birds.